The flag was at half-staff for what happened in Connecticut, but the police helicopter was circling for fear of what could happen here.
It's really freaking me out.
Just before 2 o'clock, roughly half a dozen shots were heard just north of the school.
We have nothing to indicate that the shooting was directed at the school at all.
But with tensions being what they are, this was the result. A school on lockdown, police swarming the area, and, but for the sound of the helicopter, an eerie silence as parents simply waited.
Well, quite a few people up here are, believe it or not, they're crying, you know, because it's sad what's going on up there.
With thoughts of Sandy Hook racing through minds, Ramiro Cruz's mind was racing from a slightly different perspective.
You know, my kid is bipolar, and it's hard for us to get a weapon there, you know. I don't want him to get access to that. And it's tough. You know, I'm not saying he's going to do it, but I'm just...
You're aware of that?
I'm aware of that, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want...
Is that the reason you don't have a gun?
Right.
Really?
Right. That's why I'm terrified.
2 hours later,
please be patient. We're doing this the best that we can, okay?
Parents were led into the school in groups of 5, tearing up at even the possibility of a close call. The children, totally fine, translating whatever reason they were given for the delay into kid logic.
Because it's too cold out there and it was too really sunny out there.
A blissful reminder that innocence still exists as the sun sets on a flag at half-staff. Bart Mumolo, Tulsa's Channel 8. It's stated emphatically, Biscuit Acres is a park for dogs, but that exclamation point should really be a question mark.
We just want to give the cats a chance.
Biscuit Acres volunteer Douglas Youngdahl explaining the reasoning behind the new shared status of the park, cats only from January to June.
Although there are 66 million dogs approximately, there are 70 million cats.
A fact brought to his attention by the cat-loving group who have temporarily renamed the park Meow Manor, the organization known as PETA.
It's People for the Equitable Treatment of Cats.
Southwest Chapter President Lisa Day gathered 1,200 signatures to convince park officials to share the wealth.
Cats deserve this. They deserve a park, just like dogs.
But of course, they aren't just like dogs.
I heard about Meow Manor from my mother.
Our interview with Matt was cut short when his cat Frank got away from him and took off faster than lightning. A scenario that's raising concern.
Our concern is that the cats are going to be out more.
Tulsa firefighters doubling their practice of rescue techniques in anticipation of a spike in calls for stranded cats.
If we have to climb a tree to get a cat out, we have to incorporate all the safety systems and the rope systems to make sure our firefighters are safe.
A worry not appreciated by Jaja, whose owner Lynn is optimistic city officials will be tolerant.
We all have to get along. And that's what the world's about, sharing.
Besides, say cat lovers, this is also an issue of improving animal health. When Bevel ran free for the first time, she barely made it 100 yards.
She's so fat that I think she just ran out of energy.
The dog reaction? Not exactly happy, with territorial shuffling just outside the fence and a boxer doing a double take. A unique lesson in diplomacy for kids.
There haven't been any cat parks, and I think that this is a fair way for cats to just roam around and play.
Meow Manor, a new milestone on the landscape of political correctness. Some say ridiculous, some say about time, some say April Fools.
April Fools!
April Fools!
April Fools!
April Fools!
Bart Mumolo, Tulsa's Channel 8.
The idea is to get people moving around downtown and not have to worry about finding several different parking spots.
Yeah.
And people getting on already like that idea.
I think this is needed, and it's something that
I've been wanting personally for a long time. So this is something we already do come downtown, so this is something that'll allow us to come downtown more.
Robert got on the trolley with his son Kingston just to see where it would go, and he found out there are things he didn't know about the city he works in.
I've just found a few other places that I didn't know existed until just now when somebody pointed them out.
The trolley will connect the Brady Arts District, Blue Dome, and Deco District downtown, with at least 13 stops that will go by the BOK and the Tulsa PAC. Organizers are hoping more people will see they are out here and get on board.
Instead of doing a study like we're prone to do, we decided just to put them on the street and see what happens.
I think it's a great idea to link everything together and have a way to get there, a safe way to get around, which is the best way to do it.
The 25 minutes didn't seem too long for Kingston and Robert. They have been on the trolleys in San Francisco and like this one better.
This is a lot better. It's slower, you can see the sights, and it's just, you know, a better atmosphere.
This looks like a living room, but it's actually the lobby of a hotel in Owasso, a hotel that provided relief to a newly homeless family and a lobby that saved an otherwise awful Christmas.
It was a horrific night.
The roof that Santa's sleigh would have landed on is gone, along with the vast majority of the contents in the house beneath it.
They're all in shock. They're just slowly pulling themselves out of it.
Yolanda Harvey, talking about her grandkids filling the hallway of a hotel, their temporary home after last night's blaze. A tragedy that's bringing out the best in people.
There's some wonderful stories behind this catastrophe.
One of the jolliest stories is staying in the room directly across from Yolanda's.
It was pretty bad shape last night when they came in.
His legal name is Mike Knecht, and he's in town from Ohio visiting family with a business suit that nicely complements his beard. A treat for the grandkids. But last night, he was called to duty right in the hotel.
We were told to go downstairs because the kids had a special visitor.
It was there, in a setting designed to look like a home, that Santa magically made it feel like a home.
There's one I'm still traumatized. There was, I don't know, he's about 4, 5, 6 years. Yeah, but the other ones, he was sitting on my lap and everything, so that was cool.
Adding to the magic, the uncanny coincidence of where everybody's from.
We moved here from Mansfield in Ashland, Ohio.
We're from Mansfield. And they live not too far from where we live.
They used to live not very far from where we lived.
Those chills you're feeling could be from the wind, could be from a grandmother brought to tears.
It was very, very special for him.
Could be from a 4-year-old who doesn't need a suit to recognize a Christmas miracle when he sees one.
Santa!
What?
What are you doing?
Burt Mumolo, Tulsa's Channel 8.
With news, I'm Charlie Tongabaletti for 1400 K1.
Several times a day, transmitted from this Bartlesville station, the happenings of life are reported.
Leaders of the pilots union at American Airlines have raised the threat of a strike.
Most of the time, it's things as routine as the weather.
And our weather calls for that red flag fire warning through 9 o'clock this evening.
But then, there's this segment they do of grave importance.
We do what I'm going to call funeral notices. 75-year-old William Edgar Brees of Bartlesville passed away on Sunday.
The names of the dearly departed.
Representative Earl Dean Ashcraft of Dewey passed away at the age of 77 on Friday.
Every
Maxine Collins,
single
Blaine Lair,
one.
Easter May Billups,
a front porch iced tea old-fashioned practice.
Peggy Van Cura passed away. Is still something that I think a certain percentage of our listening audience expects out of their local hometown radio station.
I think it's neat.
Down at Murphy's, home of Gravy Overall, Frances is a regular listener of the notices.
It just makes me stop and think. You never know when it's, especially when it's somebody that I didn't even know they were sick or didn't even know anything was wrong with them. I'm thinking, better not take life too serious.
What am I doing? Why am I doing whatever it is I'm doing?
Those are the questions you find yourself asking yourself as you listen in your car.
Robert Owen Cook Jr. of Bartlesville passed away.
To name after name.
Rodney D. Wilson of Pawhuska passed
Suddenly
away.
inspired to live more by someone who just finished living.
83-year-old Ethel Elizabeth Bales of Bartlesville passed away on Sunday.
A public service for both the living and the dead.
That is a check of local and area news and funeral notices on this Thursday afternoon.
Burt Mumolo, Tulsa's Channel 8.
by ConocoPhillips and by Bartlesville Health and Rehab Community. Phil Weaver has a check of sports coming up.